Well, howdy there, everybody. It is time for more. Doing the lazy man's dinner microwaving. I started a pot roast earlier today, so there is a strong possibility that when the smell becomes too overwhelming, I will have to go eat that food. But I think it's going to be a good day, a good stream day. I feel like we're going to start off strong with like a good, chill stream time, like a good positive energy kind of day. And then I think honestly my main news item today is Columbia University and all that stuff, but I am open to further suggestions for sure. I was gonna cook something, but then you had to stream. Yeah, unfortunate. Hair on point today. Thank you. Yes, I did just cut it, so it's feeling quite smooth and nice. I'm doing the thing where I've been super duper anxious lately and I'm like running my fingers through my hair all the time. And that's not good because that's part of why my hair used to fall out so much, is because I was touching it constantly. So we gotta, I need some other way to stim when I'm super duper anxious. Because listen, it's been a tough couple of weeks, you know? Just trying to minimize my stress as much as I can, because it's definitely very present. Just what I do what I do and pick at your face. I do. I chew my lips, and sometimes I pull at the skin on my lip. Is a bummer. uh, and then I don't. I guess I don't do it as much now as I used to, but I chew on the inside of my mouth as well, like the skin there on my inside of my face. Anxiety. But, we're doing what we can. It helps, I think, sometimes to validate the feeling. That can make it like a little bit less intense. Because, like, here's the thing, it makes sense to be super anxious if there's all this bad news all the time. Like, if you're not taking the appropriate breaks, and if you're having your like personal struggles in your life as well, like, it makes sense to be stressed and anxious. And I think that we beat ourselves up a lot about feeling that way. And it's easy enough to say that you shouldn't beat yourself up, but it's different to just like actually give yourself grace. Yeah, I don't know. Fingernail biter here. I used to bite my fingernails. I don't anymore. I don't really know what changed, but I do sometimes chew like on the skin near my fingernails. Yes, fresh haircut. Woo! It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. True. It is crazy out there. What's up, Sunflowers Daisy? Welcome to the website. Even in the world of crazies, there is good news too. Sometimes. Gotta drink water. Gotta make sure we're eating. Gotta make sure we're sleeping adequately. Make sure you're, you know, following up on the things your therapist tells you to do. So the title, What the F is Going On, is actually about Columbia, because I feel like it's just all of a sudden like, whoa, why is there so much? Like, it feels like it escalated really quickly. Does that make sense? Voltage Juice. Interesting name. Welcome to the website. I don't take care of myself very well. Listen, it's difficult to prioritize yourself when there's a million and one things going on. Good news of the day is that I painted flowers with my brother. That's a good way to spend some time. Like, spending time with another human being in meat space, doing a thing that has a physical result that hopefully is beautiful, or at least was some form of self-expression. Yeah, that's a good call. I've mostly been like shooting my bow a lot, and I did that with a friend today, which was good. My friend had not really had an opportunity to shoot a bow very many times. Like, they had done it at the Renaissance Festival when they were younger, but never with like an actual bow. So we just kind of messed around a little bit. had some good conversations. It's good to be around a human person. Have you tuned into the Trump trials? No. I have not tuned in. That doesn't mean that I haven't heard stuff about it, because yes, I did hear that someone self-immolated outside the courthouse. I've heard that he is like, he's been violating the gag orders. I see the headlines. At Yale also. Yeah, I also saw Boston accent came out for a second. I also saw that there was like University of Texas. Yeah, they're calling it shooting the bow now. Mm-hmm. Been watching on YouTube, almost forgot this existed. I try to plug the website like enough, but not too much. It's not the most important aspect of the whole thing. Like, you know, liking the videos makes a positive immediate impact. And yeah, doing stuff like sharing. I think it does help the video to interact on YouTube, but I prefer the website chat. It's definitely better to donate through the website because YouTube doesn't take 30 to 40% of your money, you know? Yes, more likes always means more people in chat. I haven't watched it, but I did see that Jon Stewart had a pretty, like, a segment that was hard hitting, focused on the fact that the media is, frankly, making the mistake of, like, giving Trump a bunch of free coverage again. Does that make sense? Because it does feel like part of the reason why he won in the first place was that everybody was so fascinated by him. You know, usually a presidential candidate has to, like, buy ad time, but I guess outrage marketing is also an option for you to just go, oh, yeah, well, the more crazy stuff I do, the more the news will cover me, and that's free advertising for his campaign. You're putting him all over the news. So I do think that maybe we should be a little bit more thoughtful about that. But also, we're talking about, I mean, it's a model that it makes money based on being inflammatory. You know, like, if I were to post a title that just said, like, we're going to chill for a while on this show, we would not get nearly as many clicks. We get the most clicks when I put something explicitly, like, we're covering some explicitly anti-trans news today. Like, that's the way this show stays up. But I try my best, I don't know, not to platform Trump unnecessarily. Sometimes the site doesn't like my VPN. Yeah, it sometimes does not like VPNs. I am aware of that. And I have no control over it. So I'm sorry. I added too much lemon to that water. But you know what? I'm going to drink it and be thankful that my quick access to vitamin C is. I just bought like a canister of this. It's called True Lemon, where they've taken untold numbers of lemons, and I think they only take the insides and they dehydrate it so that it's powdery. And then I got it in a shaker. So I just have a giant shaker of dehydrated lemon juice, effectively. And I just go into my giant jug of water, saving myself from scurvy. Yeah, I get way more vitamin C than I normally would that way. Although the primary reason that I drink lemon water, I mean, first of all, it tastes better, but also it has electrolytes in it, which help the water penetrate my cells, which I need help with, like medically. It's one of the things about pots. Water is also an electrolyte. Yeah, it does help to have some salt. My favorite squash is lemon. Lemon is a squash? Is that what we're claiming? Yeah, electrolytes, they're what plants crave. True. Hmm. One of those little joys lemon water. What a time in history that I get to just dump powdered lemon juice. Like, I don't live in a place where lemons grow. The fact that they can get shipped here, the fact that they're grown in such quantities, man, what a time in history to be alive. No scurvy for us. Just gonna pick up random objects off my desk and gesticulate with them as per usual. Excuse me. Okay. Is there any fun stuff that's happened in the last week? Interesting submersed sword. Oh god. Homeless people today eat better than kings in the 1400s. Granted, that's quite a comparison, but still, I don't think that's actually true. I've been learning a bit about medieval life and like what they would have eaten and what they would have drank. And so there are some surprising things about medieval life. And one of the surprising things is that like poor people, like a meal for poor people, it would not be uncommon for that to consist of like salmon and a delicious sauce made with local herbs. Like salmon was considered a poor person's meat because you could just fish them out of the river. And today it's like, we're like, oh, that's a really high class, expensive thing. And, it's very nutritional. And like the food that they ate in medieval times, of course it wasn't the same. And like, so many of our foods are based on potatoes. Obviously they did not have potatoes back then, but that does not mean that the fare was poor. Yeah, the foods that yeah, thank you, Timerinia. Exactly. There was less diversity of options per se, and maybe fewer spices, but the foods that existed were not actively bad. They had not yet been cultivated to the extremes of today, like that, broccoli and Brussels sprouts and cauliflower are all like the same base plant that have just been bred to have different features. So obviously we hadn't gotten that far with cultivation, but they had fresh food that was coming from their local communities. Like, it's a pretty significant myth that they ate poorly. And I'm talking about peasants. I'm not talking about kings even. Homeless people can get a pretty decent meal sometimes when they dig through the garbage. I mean, yeah, sure. If, you're cool with the fact that like you were saying, the food might be expired. Closer to the 1700s, things did get a bit worse, I think. I mean, listen, that's not the medieval time anymore. I'm not vouching for the post-Renaissance. Hello, Angelica. Hello, Amira. Welcome in the YouTube chat as well. Someone in the YouTube chat says, talking about lemon powder reminded me of Fillion's new React vid on that biohacking guy that takes 40 to 50 pills a day. Okay. Why? Oh, wait. I don't know if I know about the biohacking in particular, but I know that I watched a video at one point of a guy who was like, I just load up and take a shit ton of pills all like every day, and then I'm just trying to live long enough to get to like the technological advancement that is gonna take us into immortality. It was a long time ago that I watched some documentary. Snoogan, welcome to the chat. Hello. So many new people on the website today. That's lovely. That is interesting. That tells me that, like, are you all existing videos who would existing viewers who would previously watch on YouTube? Or are you new to the show? Like, is Google finally doing the thing where it's showing the show to more people? Maybe I'm catching my same audience over and over again by putting trans stuff in the title. Been around for like 3 weeks. Nice. Watched on YouTube. Curious Caramel Cookie. I'm not sure if it's the same guy who has been taking blood transfusions from his kid, from his 18-year-old kid. Not gonna lie, the idea of immortality has lost its glamour as of late. I don't feel like I don't want to see what happens. You know, that's the appeal of immortality, I think, is that you get to see what is going to happen in the future. um, yeah, like, I, at the very minimum, feel very compelled to live my full span at this time. Like, immortality is not possible, in my opinion, or it's not attainable. Um, but, like, I do think I want to at least, I want to know what it's like to be old. I want to be able to be an old trans person. But yeah, it's like, is there going to be a point at which I'm like, yeah, I'm ready for this to end? I don't know, because I spent like years of my life wanting to die, and now I don't anymore. So I yeah, I don't know. Yeah, right. If only it's going to be only rich people who get access to immortality. That's the problem. Yes, true, Corpse Candy. The rules of immortality are important here. Am I invulnerable? Because if I'm invulnerable, then there's all kinds of stuff that I could do. If you're spending that much time trying to live forever, you're not really living. I think that's the balance that a lot of people have to strike. I'm 30, and so I'm starting to feel this like, okay, there's a lot of things that I think I should do in order to prevent myself from harm, like to keep myself from harm. So I don't eat fish very much because we don't really understand what microplastics do to people. And there's microplastics in fish more than in other types of food, as far as I understand it. I can't stop eating entirely, so I'm gonna have to pick and choose which foods have the least microplastics in them, right? Um, I like someone in my family has had moles removed that were cancerous, so on account of that, I bought like UPF protectant clothing. Like this hoodie is not rated to protect you from the sun. It only costs $35 though, and it's really warm and comfy. But like I bought clothes that specifically protect my skin from the sun, so that I can exercise outside and stuff without having to cover my body in sunscreen. And I do use sunscreen on my face, and I try to limit my time outside. Like, am I still living? Yes, absolutely. I didn't really want to be outside that much in the first place. So it's not a huge limit to me to put some, rules around that, I guess you could say. But I do regularly brown my meat. When I'm cooking, I need some of that Maillard reaction. I eat butter, even though I probably should not. Like, I eat red meat, even though I probably should not, as far as like, if I'm trying to address all the issues, no one in my family has like a colon issue. No one's ever gotten colon cancer. So I'm not super worried about the types of things that would cause colon cancer. If you brown your meat, like, especially if you get like the burnt parts, like you really get that Maillard reaction going, that is carcinogenic, and it can cause, like, I believe, colon cancer. So, like, technically, like, if you take the hamburger meat and cook it until it's brown and it's cooked, cool. If it starts to get that golden crunchy stuff, that's carbon. Like, the more you cook it and get that like browning, it's technically not good for you, right? But yeah, and I eat butter and I eat egg yolks, even though they have high in cholesterol. Like, I am trying to enjoy my life while I am here. I'm making choices where I'm like, there are certain acceptable risks. Browning is fine, burning is not, basically. Yeah, like the more you burn it, but I think even like, yeah, if you just barely get the Maillard reaction, it's probably not that bad. Burned meat has more pyrobenzenes than cigarettes. Yeah. So it's like you really shouldn't eat burnt bacon, but I'm still going to because I want to I want to like enjoy my life. Food I think is so important. Honestly, it's a pretty significant part of why I do not want to catch COVID because I I cannot imagine not being able to enjoy food anymore. Like, I think that that would really, really, really be hard for me to adjust to. I love delicious food. I love learning about food and learning different cooking methods and thinking of new stuff that I can do. Like, I love providing a wonderful meal to someone. Like, I just really relish that part of life. Frankly, back when I wanted to kill myself all the time, I was like, if for nothing else, live for life's pleasures, you know? Like, really thoroughly enjoy every orgasm you have. Really thoroughly enjoy every meal that you eat. Yeah, sound off in the YouTube chat about COVID destroying people's sense of smell and taste. If eating salads, so I like salads. I wouldn't want to eat them every day, but I'm not shit talking salads. But chat says if eating salads would give me 80 plus years of life, I would consider eating salad every day. But if it's just an extra 5 or 6 years and I had to also give up burgers, then no, I would not. I love burgers. They're not good for you. McDonald's is not good for you. Food is like the weakness that I have. Oh yeah, COVID messed up my tastes for a year. Now it's back, and I've never appreciated food so much. Yeah. I prefer lamb burgers. I've only eaten lamb once, and it was really good. And it cooks up so fast. I didn't like it was a fairly thick lamb chop, and I did not realize that it was going to cook so fast. Like that's the desired level for it to be at. Oh, it was really yummy though. It's really hard to justify buying lamb in the United States because we don't really have like an industry for mutton. So it's real expensive. And it's honestly probably not super fresh. Listen, I'm sorry, I like McDonald's sometimes. I'm not saying it's my favorite, but I'm saying that I have weaknesses. That's all I'm saying. I got my sense of taste and smell back a little bit, but I don't think it's ever going to be the same. Plus, I have brain fog and high blood pressure. What was the point of me getting vaxxed and masked and all of that? No, there's only so much we can do on an individual basis about COVID. So I feel like if you are vaccinated and you're as up to date on your vaccine as you can be, and you're wearing a mask, like the best bet is to get an N95, like the ones with like rubber seal up top. In my opinion, those are the best. Like I use 3M brand usually. Because if you're one-way masking, you're relying on one-way masking in most places because of the failure of public health. So you need to get the best mask that you can to protect yourself, make sure that it has a good seal, all that stuff. And yeah, but the thing is, if you're vaccinated, if you have brain fog and loss of sense of smell now after being vaccinated, imagine if you hadn't been vaccinated and you had caught COVID. You would have probably like much more severe brain damage because apparently the strain of COVID you got used your brain cells to replicate itself. You don't realize how much the world smelled before you lose it. Ugh, yeah. Our brains process out smell so often. The lamb I buy is frozen from Australia. Most of it is cheaper than beef here. Where is here? Where do you live? Do you buy it online? You just get frozen lamb? Is that why you lose your sense of smell? I thought it maybe just damaged your nasal receptors. No, babe. It's your brain. It's brain damage. When you have brain fog and you can't smell and taste anymore, it's that's your brain. Unfortunately. Drop shipped lamb, exactly. Ah, Darth Gently. So sad. What's up, mama? We were just talking about COVID-induced brain damage, but we were mostly talking about food, which is why we started to get into taste. You live in Connecticut, really? And you get $6 a pound for shoulder or leg, but the chops and ribs are crazy expensive. Yeah, so I think that the problem is that the chops are the only thing that's available at like my local grocery store. But honestly, $6 a pound for lamb shoulder or lamb leg is not bad. Where you get it from? I have only had lamb once and it's so good. Fake news, my brain damage is all self-inflicted. So many, I know, so many white names. Yeah, I just got over COVID and now I am Captain Space Brain. Yeah. My advice for you, if you've had COVID, is to rest like way more than you feel is necessary. Like way more than you feel is reasonable, even. Just take the time, like as much rest as you can reasonably get. Hello, kitty tick. I'm working hard on getting rid of all my brain capacity anyway so that COVID won't touch me. You insist on being like, you're gonna be Fry with like the brain thing attached to him, and then it just fucking dies and falls off. I had venison stew once. I so I think I've had venison sausage. I'm pretty certain that I've had venison sausage. And of course that's going to be really heavily flavored with like spices and stuff. So and also it was a while ago. I don't remember how it tasted. So like I haven't had a venison steak. As I understand it, venison is fairly um lean. Is a fairly lean meat because I guess deer fat tastes real bad, so they kind of remove most of it in the process of processing the animal. Just be careful of CWD. Is a parasite of some sort, I assume? Deer won't be afraid of you if they have it and will act very bizarrely. I am not really planning on going out of my way to try venison anytime soon. I'm sure that at some distant time in the future, I will personally hunt down and kill a deer. I'm sure. I'm 100% sure that that's in my future. Like, I genuinely do not see that not happening. Um, but for the time being, I don't have any active plans to eat venison. Sure. Well, I wonder if I should be on the lookout for some. Maybe I'll taste some this year. I've eaten a lot of game in a lot of different ways, cooked in a lot of different ways, and I will say that most game is season and diet dependent on how it tastes. Okay. Venison is okay, not much different from beef, obviously more gamey. I want to know, what does gamey mean? Chronic wasting disease is a prions disease. Do you have to worry about that if you are killing and eating the animal's meat? Is it in the meat? Is the prions in the meat? I'm so envious of you Yanks being able to just go hunting. Listen, I'm Snoogin. I live in the state of Kansas, and I am required to take some sort of class before I can have a hunting license, right? And then if I want to hunt deer specifically, I have to purchase a tag for each deer I plan on killing. And there's a limited number of tags given out each year, and there's a stupid system basically based on seniority. So people who've been in the game longest will get the priority choice on like which deer they get to kill and how many. But yeah, we do have to pay money and go to classes. Although, I think if I'm okay with the NRA having my legal name on file, I could go and take this NRA approved. It's an approved course. The state of Kansas has approved it as you can take the online NRA course and print out a little thing that says you completed it and take that in with your money and get a hunting license. I was running late because I was fighting well pump problems again. Let me just say being a property owner is wonderful, but comes with shit. Like being annoyed. Yeah, absolutely. It's a trade-off, right? Because right now, nothing gets fixed in the place where I live because I refuse to have maintenance people in. And in the future, things will only get fixed if I pay to fix them. I tried moose once. It was awful. It tastes like beef soaked in swamp water. Okay. Prions are misfolded proteins that deform other proteins they come into contact with. Since they're not alive or a virus, there's no way to kill, cure, or immunize yourself to them. Oh, fascinating. I really could have sworn that a prion was a living thing. Are you talking about the land ownership? You married into it, and your lady inherited after her first husband died. Prions are scary AF. There's gnats in here. We're working on it. We're trying to solve problems. In World War Z and zombie survival guide books, the zombie virus is a prion disease. Bonjour! Prions can spontaneously form in the body, or they can accumulate via cannibalism. Oh, yeah, that's where mad cow disease comes from, because they keep feeding the cows other cow parts. Fun stuff. So beware of deer that act funny. I think mostly you hide from deer anyway when you're hunting them. I'm just a person trying not to destroy 28 acres. I think you'll be alright. Oh, it's the brain specifically. I understand from a permaculture perspective, not wanting to have any waste in your agricultural production stuff, but like, why you gotta feed cow brains to cows? Why would you do that? I don't understand the logic behind this. I don't really get it. I wish my hair had more volume today. It is so flat, and it's bothering me because I just shaved part of my head, and so part of my head is already flat. Can you please have a little bit more body today? Please. Give me anything. Do I need to flip you the other way for a little while? It saves money. Yeah, but like, I don't know, man. It certainly has more volume this way. Yeah, like, did they have a personal vendetta against the cows? They're doing this? Your hair looks nice. Thank you. I know. I mean, it's nice and shiny, but it's just like, it completely lacks volume today. Oh my god, Velcro. When you first shave your head all the way down, all the rest of your hair sticks to it. I need a wind machine. True. But a wind machine would make so much noise. We have almost the exact same hair. I just have a big fat head. You don't know how big and fat my head is. A fan should be enough, but the fan, it makes noise, is what I'm saying. I don't want a fan blowing because every time I talk, it's just gonna be like, hello, Silent. Welcome in. Are you saying just put the cow brains in the compost and then use that compost for non-food produce? Unless you do a 3-year compost at high temp. Are we talking about the great British hobby of having prion disease? Apparently. I need someone with a big hand fan. Yeah, I do own a hand fan. I am not sure where it is. But I do kind of want a giant one. I really love the, like, 14-inch fans. They're like, and, like, it would take up the entire screen, you know? Yeah, just compost the brain. And then what, you put that compost in your flower beds or something instead of... We compost people in Oregon and Washington. Really? Is that like a common way of disposing of waste? A ContraPoints fan? I mean, I want it to be as big as one of ContraPoints' fan, but I'm not that much of a ContraPoints fan. True, Snoogan. When you think about it, prion disease do love to colonize brains, and nothing is more British than colonizing. I think you did show me the fan that you got at Pride last year. I can't remember what it looks like, but I think you did show me. I remember Ask a Mortician had a video on composting people. I've seen a couple of different things. Like, I've seen one where they just put you in a box with a bunch of worms and stuff, and they compost you over a period of time. Not common yet, but catching on. It's not too much more expense than cremation. I think that makes it a good option. Traditional burial is ridiculously expensive. Like, getting a real casket and everything, it just seems like it would be really difficult to have that be cheap, I guess. Composting bigots for a greener world. A greener world? I'm just gonna have to look around Etsy and see if I can find some good... Yeah, it's the casket plus embalming, like removing all of your organs and getting rid of them, like the disposal of all that stuff. Really, the most attractive thing to me is avoiding embalming. Yeah, you know, I haven't thought about it in a little while. Here's my original thought. Originally, I wanted to get cremated, but if I get phalloplasty, which is a big if, because it's quite expensive, but if I get that, then I kind of want my bones to exist in the record. Like, I have very obviously wide-boned hips. So I think that, like, looking at my body proportions, someone would assume that I'm female, and I don't know what my chromosomes are. So they drill into your pelvic bone to put the erectile device. So, like, either I die with the erectile device, or I die without it, but there are obvious drill lines, like drill holes in my pelvis. Like, I want my body to exist in the historical record as a testament to the existence of trans people now in this time. Like, I know that that's kind of selfish because any preserving my body in a way that preserves my bones enough for them to last into the future that way. Yeah, obviously it's not going to be the most green solution because it does appeal to me the idea of all of my body returning to the earth. Like that feels good to me, but that is a very interesting way of saying you want people to know you were hung. Yeah. Um but it's because I want people to not be able to deny that trans people were real and that these were the surgeries we were getting, like that this was our real life. I just want to get chopped up at a body farm. Yeah. Um it's like a sky burial is what it's called, right? Water cremation would preserve the bones. I guess, yeah. How do you then preserve? Do you then just like bury a smaller box with just bones in it? You should get them mummified. Yeah, bury me in pants with a roomy crotch like Lyndon B. Johnson. I'm planning on having my body planted in a hill standing over a young cherry tree, one of the species that doesn't mind exposed roots. Over time, the roots will take on the shape of me, and the hill will be sandy so it erodes over 100 years, exposing my weird root person under the tree. Just throw me in the trash. Fair enough. Native Hawaiians keep the bones. Okay. Speaking of Egyptians and mummification, I've been frightened by reading about the little, long, thin spoon used to scoop the brain out through the nose. Listen, burial can be disgusting sometimes. Hey, thank you so much for that donation. 10K reasons. Happy birthday to me. Okay. So for your birthday, I get $12. That's such a generous gift. Thank you so much. My birthday was last month. My birthday gift to myself, first of all, it was a hefty chunk of tiramisu. That was my first gift to myself. And my second major gift to myself is a tattoo, which I'm getting next week, which is very exciting. I know it's not the most responsible way I could have spent my money, but, you know, I feel like I deny myself enough nice things. I can have something that costs $200 every once in a while. Yeah, rar. Make an epoxy coffee table out of me. It'll be like Rocky Horror Picture Show when he opens it up and it's like meatloaf in there. Just a little tattoo for a treat. I've wanted it for years, yeah. I mean, I've been thinking about it for a really long time. I'm not really sure how long, but it's been at least a couple of years that I've been thinking about it and talking about it. So I'm just gonna check it off my list. It does not require any fanciness. I'm just getting like the Ouroboros symbol from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and I'm gonna get it on my leg where Envy's is on their leg. And it doesn't require any design input from me or the tattooist. I know exactly what color it's gonna be. Like I only have very minor questions about the details on it. So, yeah. The fact that it's just a quick, easy one, I should have already gotten it, but whatever. I'm getting it now. Happy 30th birthday. I would love to have my skeleton wired together and posed at different places around the property, but that gag would die with someone eventually. Really? Do you think it would scare people? I mean, it reminds me of the 12-foot tall skeleton thing that you can get at Home Depot. I want my skull to go to a witch. I guess my hip bone, well, you need my hip relative to my rib cage in order to see the feminine thick hips, right? So I guess I could give my skull to someone else. I'm a witch. I'm a witch. I am this. I wish that this thing was not as in the way of the background as it is, but it is in the way. So what can you do? There's so much. There's so much. I can't get this thing to like sit lower. It's very annoying. Oogly boogly, super scary skeleton. I would like to be donated to a museum and placed on the back of a dinosaur. True. Witch gang. I have metal in my arm, so I'm curious what that would be like over time and the decomposure process. Oh, the person who moved me around would die someday. Fair enough. I mean, they could donate you to someone else before they die. Someone could buy you at their estate sale. Oh, listen, I know even pelvic bone analysis isn't 100% accurate. I'm aware. What I'm saying is, I personally am aware that I have very wide hips in comparison to my rib cage. Do you ever deal with body envy issues, not in a gender way, but in a shapeliness slash fitness way? I don't really have body envy issues. I I experience what I think I would more aptly describe as body admiration that then I find inspiring. Body inspiration? I don't really have like huge issues with my body. I'm like, yes, I currently possess more fat on my body than I would like. I would like to have less fat on my body. I am successfully losing the fat. At least I assume, because the number on the scale is going down. Like, um, haven't seen like major results yet, but sometimes I see people who they basically don't really have to do much to look amazing, and it upsets me, TBH. Yeah, I can understand that. I don't personally feel that way very much. Like, I mean, I guess maybe because I don't find it particularly difficult to trend the direction that I'm trying to trend. Like, I don't look exactly the way that I want to look. I'm a work of art. I'm in process. I'm still growing toward whatever, and like I'll get to my hypothetical goal, and then what I want will change. Like, I'm always going to be in a state of transitioning from one person to the next. So I just find that it doesn't really bother me that much when my body is doing stuff. I'm just like, okay. Like, I have a body. I just have come to a place of just like, I can't rebel against what I am. A lot of the times, many influencers will make it look effortless, but it's a bunch of plastic surgery. I will tell you if I ever have plastic surgery. Human skin does not make for very good leather. I think that like inspiration is the opposite reaction to envy. I could see that being the case. I'm like, yeah, it's like I admire, but I also think, the only person who I can think of when I'm thinking of admiration or envy with regards to like I like how that person looks and I wish I looked like that, it's Claire Max um on Twitter, and she clearly has worked really hard to get where she is. So I don't have as much of that sense because I guess I don't know that many people who are just naturally fit without having to really work hard. Or I guess, I've always been slim. I'm not always fit, but I've always been slim. And it's just because I have two skinny parents. Yeah, grabbing stomach fat and shoving it adamantly but fruitlessly into the boobs. I decided to accept my gut because of my love for food. Listen, all things come in balance. I love food. I was talking about it earlier. Food, like the pleasure of good food, I literally stayed alive for that reason at various points. Like, I used that as inspiration to keep going. And like, I've talked to various people about this before in my life. Like, if I ever travel it's not so much about seeing stuff or even seeing people. Like, it's not even really about, let's experience the culture in Rome. I want to eat. Like, I want to eat good food. And, like, that is, like, that's the beauty, that's the inspiration. If I could eat, real authentic Mexican food, that would be cool. If I could eat real authentic French or Italian food, like, yes, thank you, absolutely. Yeah, I'm pretty sure eating is half the culture in Italy anyway. Of course, yeah, food is part of the culture, especially if you were to be eating at restaurants, which I don't know if I would be in this hypothetical future. Maybe outdoor restaurants, sort of depends on what happens. We have bird flu creeping up on us. I guess bird flu is the other topic we could talk about today, because it's possible that some virus fragments of bird flu have been found in grocery store, um, like commercially available milk. All I would do in Europe is eat. Yeah, like, oh my God, can you imagine going to Spain? Ah, and like getting to eat the food and like, it is beautiful. And I think that that's a perk. A perk of traveling is that it's quite lovely and there's all this kind of really old architecture. That stuff is really cool. And I'm sure that there's loads of beautiful things in these places that I have never seen a picture of on the internet. And maybe I would have to really go digging to find pictures of it on the internet. Like cool sculptures and cool buildings. But that is not the primary focus. I am so I just love food. I want to go to South America just to add another 300 inches to my waist. Oh, I'm glad to hear that you got good friends. Homo sapien? Hobo sapien? I can't fucking read. My chicken was just eating cheese. Do you have a chicken? It's crazy that gluttony is considered a deadly sin. Food is the most basic individual need and pleasure besides sex, sleep, and air. I think this is one of the things that I have in common with truly like asexual people. Like I'm demisexual, but I'm in a long-term relationship, so it's not I'm not like I don't really go through periods of aceness. Um but I know that ace people often like the thing that they say is like, yeah, but have you ever had cheese or something like that? Like asexuals love food like because it is one of the carnal pleasures. Chicken's name is Helena. Okay, nice. Is it an egg chicken? Pet chicken? Yeah, sex is great and all, but have you tried garlic bread? Exactly. Yes, that's the vibe. So I completely empathize on that run. I'm very excited about the pot roast that I get to eat later. Have you tried pizza bread? I don't know that I have. I remember taking a Dante's Inferno quiz in high school, and gluttony and blasphemy were my biggest sins, then lust. Garlic bread is better than sex. I don't. Well, there is such a thing as good and bad garlic bread, and there is such a thing as good and bad sex. So I don't think that we can make sweeping statements. Lamb kebab. She lays eggs, but she sleeps in my lap. Oh, what a cutie. Donut, vanilla cheesecake. Listen. Churros? Oh, baby. I would never make love to a loaf of bread, unless, of course, I found it in my bed. Like, if it's just there anyway, the average garlic bread is superior to the average sex. I think that I would be willing to accept that. Would you rather have bad sex or bad garlic bread? Yeah, I guess it depends on how dry the garlic bread is, you know, because if it's real dry, like burnt garlic bread, that's pretty bad. Is that this breading fetish I keep hearing about? True, depends on how dry the sex is. Oh my god, decoy duck. You certainly got me there. You certainly got me on that one. I didn't consider trying to see that it's a factor in both of these situations. Oh my god, dude. We have fun here, okay? We have fun. Sometimes I just gotta put my little face in my little hand and just... Yeah, we have fun here. How do you know if the bread consents? You can tell if it rises. True, either way it's involving yeast. Ugh. Jokunyu, I'm Arrow. I just love a garlic bread and have an ace best friend. The memes. The memes. The silliness abounds in today's chat. I think I'm wondering if I should just... I don't know. I've been titling the streams stuff that I'm deliberately trying to get people to come in for the trans news, you know? But it's like, I wonder if I should drift off of that so that we get more people in here who don't care if I talk about trans news. Enjoying life. If I'm not hypersexual, I'm as close as you can get. Yeah, there have definitely been times in my life where I would say I'm like I'm demisexual, but hypersexual in that context. Bad news is just blues. Maybe we need to get off the bread. I chortle, good sir. I chortle. With glee. I chortle with rapturous glee. Yeah, genuinely, yeah, like my main two stories for tonight aren't even trans related anyway, because all I've really got is Columbia University and bird flu. As far as I know, I mean, I'm not sure. I guess I would have to check what Erin has, but I haven't seen any specific trans news really over the last couple of days. Is there anything? Sanctuary state in Maine. Maine has signed a sanctuary law. Iowa had attacks on trans and queer people fail in the Senate or whatever. Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of trans news. Sure, like I also have some self-control, so like I'll be attracted to someone, but I'm not gonna have sex with them if their vibe is off. Yeah. I think that, I mean, it's been a long time since I was dating, so it doesn't really matter that much. And also, I was in a completely different space in my life at the time. But I think I definitely used to be the kind of person who was more like, just anybody giving me any amount of attention was was enough for me to feel like, I'm so into you. Which is like a weird way to, it's like weird to look back at the you from 8 years ago and be like, wow, you had some very specific issues. I guess the Arizona thing is being contested, but no major news on that. Lux is going to talk about the ace people invading Denmark. Uh-oh. Yeah, 8 years ago. Yeah, I definitely feel like that's one thing that therapy has given me is that I am no longer desperate for validation or attention. Like those things are positive benefits in my life. They reduce my suffering, but I don't need them. Like, you know, validation, like I get validation from my friends. True, everyone should praise me for how little I need validation from other people. Everybody likes someone who doesn't care what everybody thinks. We do love a good Danish. Danishes are one of the rare times where I'm okay with there being fruit in a baked good that I'm eating. Like a Danish with like raspberry and cream cheese. Mmm, yes. The modesty kink. I just accept that I'm not valid and move on with my life. Glow-in-the-dark ocean creatures have been found. Some fun news. I mean, yeah, bioluminescent animals in the ocean, that sounds like a thing that if it wasn't something that I already knew, then at least I'm not surprised by it. I'm more of the opinion that a pastry should only ever be cream-filled. True. I simply don't think, can't afford to in this economy. Sex is pretty sweet, but spicy garlic chicken from a Thai place is hard to beat. They're just very different experiences. Custard-filled donuts. Yeah, when a donut says that it's cream-filled and you get like the white, fluffy, almost whipped cream kind of filling, that's a major disappointment. When I get a cream-filled donut, I want it to be like custard. I want it to be a thick pudding in the middle there. How could you give me fucking white, fluffy... I mean, it's basically whipped cream, I think. I don't know. If pastries should be cream-filled, then I identify as a pastry. Very fun. I know it sounds like a joke because I actually do porn, but unironically, my favorite donut is a Boston cream pie. They're delicious. I think my favorite donut is a blueberry cake donut. That's my fave. But if you're gonna put filling in a donut, then custard, I think, is the only way to go. Bavarian cream or custard. Yes, not whipped topping. Lemon. I think in a very particular mood, I could be into a lemon donut. Later, Voltajuice. Have a good time. Krispy Kreme has the better pastry. Dunkin' has the better filling. Dunkin' pastry tastes like plastic to me. I like Dunkin' coffee. I'm heating up a bowl of chili. Anybody want some? Ooh, does anybody want some of Mama's chili? I'm making a pot roast. Does anybody want some of that in like 2 or 3 hours? Yes, Twinkie filling belongs in a Twinkie, not a donut. That's exactly what I'm trying to say here. It's wild how good Twinkies were when we were kids, and then now if you try to eat a Twinkie, it's like, what is wrong with this? Beans, tomatoes, corn, and chipotle chilies. Chili! There was this donut shop where I grew up that made fresh fritters every day out of whatever fruits they found fresh. Apricot and peach cream fritter killed me once. What? Later, Snoogan. I recognize that I have accrued a lot of European fans, and you know, I've got my Sunday streams, which are at the time that y'all can watch it, but then Wednesdays, you just have to be okay with being up until 3 in the morning, apparently. Sorry. No, thank you. I'm an annoying chili purist. I thought that that was a Texas thing. I thought that it was strictly a Texas people. Texas chili doesn't have beans in it. Oh, born in Texas. Okay, I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm like, you lived somewhere else at some other time, and my brain, like, auto-filled that in. Lemon curd with blueberry jam melted on the stove, then served on French bread. Ooh, yum. Food is such a wonderful topic. It's so delicious. Fritters are amazing, but I learned that there will never be a best donut. I see, okay. Food stream, food stream, food stream. You guys have been asking for a cooking stream for forever. It's difficult to do a cooking stream. It would be easier to do a cooking stream if I had a lavalier mic, which I do have available for you to donate toward on my throne page. If you want to contribute $5. You did once, didn't you? Yeah. No, I did do a cooking stream at one point in the past. It's just really irritating and difficult to do. Because, like, everything here is stationary. Like, this is where the show happens. The microphone is plugged in and in place. So usually, like, I did it from my phone. Irritating and difficult, so the chat then, right? Like, I can't stream with the overlay. Like, the overlay and the chat are just not here if I stream from my phone. Watching Lux eat random things we send it on stream. No, I don't think I would eat something that I got in my P.O. box unless it was like I knew who the person was and I knew that they were going to send it to me. But I'm not going to eat random stuff that people send me. Now I want beignets. No beignets for you. So when I hung out with my friend earlier, she actually gave me some Kit Kats from Japan, presumably. There's strawberry one, and there's a matcha one. So maybe I'll just eat these right now, because I'm kind of hungry. Yes, I've seen your Thanksgiving dinners. Yes. Sounds like Lux doesn't trust us. And yeah, I don't trust people, strangers sending me food. I'm a member of a hated minority group. Ooh, I'm about to have so much fun. Are you ready for fun? That's a really strong strawberry flavor. It's crazy how intense that is. It's also really tart. Can you get close on the mic so we can hear the bite? Is that desirable? Do people want that? I thought that typically people didn't want that. Luxander mukbang stream. Here's the cool thing about doing a mukbang stream. That meal, I would be able to write off that meal on my taxes. Okay, that was really yummy. Now I'm gonna eat the matcha one. And I'm gonna hope that that amount of snacking prevents my stomach from getting crazy. I'm about to harvest a ton of wild elderberries because I found out they grow all up this driveway. Would you not want a vacuum sealed jar of powdered elderberry for smoothies? I'm gonna be starting a store though, so the products will be real and traceable. I'm assuming, Kitty Tick, that at some point in the future, I'm gonna live near enough to you to just exchange gifts. Based on the part of the world that you live in. I've seen people use Uber Eats or DoorDash to send people food. Yeah, I just feel like... Do I sense a transition in content from news to food review? No, I don't think that I would be able to do food review content. Look, there's only 39 people here, and I've only gotten $12 of donation today, so it's not like this is going to be the direction that is possible. It's not possible for me to go that direction, I don't think. Crunch. I think I should have eaten this one first. Because I don't like it that much. I'm not the biggest fan of matcha. I don't hate it. But it's like following up after the strawberry one. It's really not good. Delicious. I guess. Let's pretend. Okay. That was a little snack that will hopefully settle in my tummy. I don't see time really and talk about every when now. Yeah. Elderberry is mad because the flowers smell so nice, but the rest of the plant smells like cardboard and taint. True, mama. That is a well-appreciated compliment. Thank you very much. Lux claims to be anti-cannibalism and then is here eating snacks. I appreciate that. Sometimes you need a little boost. When I was referred to as a snack, I was being complimented. Yeah, a snack is delicious. And if you're being called a snack, usually it means that you're attractive. Typically. You know? Oh, because I was not nice to the other person in response. I mean, I guess it depends on the context, but generally, if someone calls you a snack, it means that they think you're attractive. So I'm sorry to you and the person you bombed with it. You bombed it with, oh my gosh. So yeah, the things that I'm looking forward to over the next week or two is, yeah, a new tattoo. I get to plant my garden finally, my community garden plot. I'm gonna get to transplant my tomato plants and my basil plants out there. And I'm really excited about, like, gardening over the summer. I'm pretty much exclusively gonna garden early in the morning, of course. Transplant, true! I'm just gonna produce way too many tomatoes. It's gonna be far too many tomatoes. Which is also funny because if you remember the LG LGBTQ, what is that? What is it? It was the bacon. Was it just a bacon lettuce? Was it bacon lettuce tomato? I don't know, something, but there was a whole meme going on in the transgender shit posting group on Facebook. There was a whole meme that tomato equals trans because of this sandwich that had T in it. It was like lettuce, bacon. What was the other thing? It must have been something that started with G. Yeah, lettuce, bacon, guacamole, and tomato. That's what it was. That's what it was. It was guacamole. I was like thinking of avocado, and then I did not connect that there was a G word related to avocado. This is what happens when the Ritalin wears off. We're officially past the point in the day. I'm in that group, Lux, so I seen it. Yeah. I don't know that I see very many posts from that group in my timeline anymore. I'm gonna have to go back and start interacting with a bunch of them to tell my algorithm to bring it back. I love tomatoes. Oh, whoa. Tomatoes will never be a real fruit. I know. You can't put it in a fruit salad. Then it's not a real fruit. That's how it works. Like I said, I love food, and so therefore the culinary definition is more important to me. Like a cucumber is a fruit, but I use it as a vegetable. Actually, I don't know that that's true. Do you pickle... Is pickling vegetables generally... Is that like the normal way to treat them? Because I would basically never cook a tomato. Or sorry, I would never cook a cucumber. I would basically never cook one. I would only eat it raw in a salad or pickled. So I guess I do treat it a little bit more like let's say I'll eat it preserved and not pickled. Pretty sure cucumber is a squash. That doesn't mean that it's not a fruit. Scientifically speaking, a fruit is it's like the body of the plant that contains the seeds and like the nutrients around it on the outside. And then usually like a skin, like an apple, right? You wouldn't cook a cucumber. Actually, avocados are fruits. Fun fact, trees aren't real. Neither are fish. Fish and trees are not real. I really would love to get a tree identifying book. I think that might be a thing that I should do. Is anything real? No more horses. A botanist would say that cucumbers are fruit, so you win. That's what I'm saying! Intellect is knowing a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is not putting tomato in a fruit salad. Dexterity is how neatly you can slice a tomato. Strength is how hard you can throw a tomato. And constitution is how many tomatoes you can be hit with. And then there's charisma, which is how well you can convince people to not throw tomatoes at you. The T in LGBTQ stands for tree. Are you saying that we're not real? Trans people aren't real? Once I had a parent get mad at me because they did not believe narwhals were real animals. They're a mystical creature. A mystical creature from legend. Like mermaids. So, the news. Ooh, that's fun. All I know about avocados is that the name is derived from a Nahuatl word for testicle. Palm trees are a type of grass. Man, Screw coconuts. They're so mean. They're not even taste good. Like, why you eat them? What's up, Xbox Gamer Granny? We're chilling. We've been talking about food, just enjoying chilling out. We're gonna talk about politics and news and stuff, but honestly, the more time we chill, the better. If you eat a flower that is edible, that's a vegetable. Bamboo is a grass. Homo sapiens, you struggling. Wait, what did Baby Squid say? Oh, the name avocado is actually not derived from a Nahuatl word for testicle. Okay. Tubers or veggies. Coconuts kill more people than sharks. Just, just absolutely TKOing people. We actually eat coconuts to assert dominance over them. We should probably react to stuff more often, huh? Like, do more reactions. Like, I've been trying to promote smaller channels content on my community tab. So I wonder if maybe we should try to take the same spirit into, like, occasionally having a, like, react segment on stream where we, like, watch a video from a smaller channel and give them a little attention. I have no idea what we're talking about anymore, but it's fun. Everything's kind of going off the rails today. Testicles are nasty? I mean, I've eaten testicles before. They're fine. Bit chewy, but if you have them fried up, it tastes mostly like whatever they get fried up with. IDK, it's kind of boring to watch someone just agree with something for 30 to 60 minutes. I mean, it doesn't have to be a full segment. And it also doesn't necessarily have to be something I agree with. Just because I'm showing a spotlight on a smaller channel doesn't necessarily mean it has to be something I agree with. But we could also do like a 5 to 10 minute little react segment and then encourage chat to go watch the rest of it on their own time, kind of thing. I'm just thinking I want to save my voice a little bit more sometimes. Like, technically speaking, you should not talk for 4 hours consecutively. So, blood sports, I know. Let's just become the based version of LOTT and bully random bigots. I gotta create a different Twitter account where I don't have half of the user base blocked. But it would be fun. What if we just became abusive toward bigoted people? Is that what you're basically implying? Andes, thank you so much for the gifted sub, Neurotic Canary. Hopefully you enjoy. Sai, here's a little something for stream for you and Neurotic Canary enjoys. Thank you so much. Very appreciated. Another $5 in the bucket. Thank you. Number go up. Brr. Love it when number go up. White genocide. Love the rar. Yeah, that's just something that I said during a show one time, and chat recommended that I make it the donation sound, so I did. Okay, I'm closing some tabs I don't need right now. I've left Twitter for bluer skies. Yeah, I know. I mostly am on Twitter nowadays because of my job. Mostly I'm on Twitter so that I can find out what people are talking about. Oh my gosh, there's a gnat right there in my face. Oh. I get a decent amount of chasers to help me pay my bills from Twitter. Man, you know what's really interesting is that, like, I haven't wanted to take any cute, like, sexy pictures in a while. I literally have a Fansly where I take, like, flirtatious pictures in cute outfits. They're thirst traps. Like, I'm fully clothed and everything, but it is like, ooh, I'm trying to be cute, and I just have not wanted to. I could potentially also get money from chasers on Twitter, if only. I did not hear that. That's news. That's news. That's news I could cover. That's news I could really cover. Glinner was caught subscribing to a trans woman's OnlyFans. I'm mainly on Twitter to watch furries ratio people. Love furries. Love the furries. How did I miss this? I have Glinner blocked. He replied to one of my tweets one time, so I blocked him. If he had quote tweeted me, it probably would have been much worse. I don't think he quote tweeted me. I think it was just a reply. It's been a while. It's been a few years. The biggest haters are always the biggest fans. Yeah. Ooh, okay, silent. Thank you. Did you want me to show chat this video of your, fan? I don't actually know if I can do that. Oh, yes. Okay, that's cute. Furries are 80% of the tech industry. Don't anger the furries. They will make your computer be dumb. There's also a shocking number of furries in, like, aviation. Weirdly enough. So this is... I'm gonna have to do proper segment about this today. But I'm just gonna put it up on the screen for now, so that you all know the proof. We'll talk about it in a second, more in depth. What are the most divorced things Glinner has ever done? Asks Callan. Someone replied, signed up to my OnlyFans only to delete it a couple hours later after he realized I could see his username and that he had just outed himself as an alleged chaser. Yeah, I'm gonna cover that in depth in a minute. It's pretty funny. I also think that he may have deleted his account. The Moderna vaccine was partially was made with the help of a furry. That's funny. That that post nut clarity had him in a panic. Oh my god. It's like, why? It doesn't. Hold on. Oh, no, we're gonna wait. We're waiting a second. I need to collect myself to address this properly. I gotta hold on my commentary. I gotta hold it in. This is juicy. This is very juicy news. In fact, I'm changing the stream title. Hold on. I'm changing the stream title. How do you put this? How do you do this? Glinner. Or like, hold on, what if you do like famous transphobe subscribes to trans OnlyFans? Okay. That's pretty funny. That's good news. I think you might have to get more specific with that search. What search? What do you... I was like, what do I title the stream to make people want to click it? Famous transphobe subscribes to trans OnlyFans. There's a gap between ON and LY. Yeah, holy cow, it's because I didn't want YouTube to detect what I wrote. So instead of putting an asterisk or whatever, I just put a space. More specific title then. But I don't... But it's like, if I say Glinner, I think that that is more niche, and that would catch a smaller crowd. Ah. Helping trans people pay for HRT for possible nudes in the future. That's a long-term investment. I guess, yeah, if you pay for a trans person to get their surgery. I know, it's so funny. It's funny. Yeah, it's crazy how often TERFs are secretly chasers. Like, girl, what are you doing? Oh my goodness. I get that's a great way to transition into the news. Although, should we save it? Should we save it? Do we need to talk about Columbia University first? Does someone have more about the Glinner story? I just have this screenshot which shows Glinner68 had subscribed to this trans woman's OnlyFans, and then looking at the same notifications list, it's like deleted user. I'm convinced that Matt Walsh is the secret chaser. Like, I want to talk about bird flu because I don't want people to not know about it, but I also don't know that I have a lot to say, just aside from maybe don't drink milk without cooking it right now. Because what we're seeing is that apparently some fragments of the virus are present in commercially available milk. That's not the same as having live virus present, but it does mean that the pasteurization process is not necessarily getting rid of all of it, and that it could reduce efficiency in the future. So you want to be careful, right? But I don't know that I have a lot else to say, or if maybe I should just make a really short video. Maybe I only do it in YouTube short format. I don't know. If you haven't yet hit the like button, consider hitting the like button, babes. Help the show, support the show. It's free, it's quick, it's clean, and it's pure. Not so sure about Matt Walsh, but I'm almost certain that Tucker Carlson is a chaser. Yeah, I mean, so fair enough. What didn't Alex Jones one time? Didn't he show one of the tabs on his phone and it was trans girl porn? Andes, thank you so much for the gifted tier 1 sub to Hobo Sapiens. Enjoy your dicks, Hobo Sapiens. Sparkle dinner. I love Sparkle dinner. It's the best. Ooh, the hunger is definitely starting to set in, but it's much too early to end this show. We're gonna keep going for probably at least another hour. Like, I'm not misremembering the Alex Jones thing, am I? I don't think so. Trans girls do be hot. That's true. I have some very high tier respect and love and appreciation for trans girls. Ben Shapiro and Brett Cooper are a gender bend episode. Yeah, Brett Cooper. That's a female, right? Yeah, she does kind of look like a face app gender swapped version of Ben Shapiro. I'm trans girls too. Yeah. I'm trans girls. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have so much love and appreciation for y'all. I'm not overwhelmingly hungry. I just didn't eat very much earlier. I did eat before the show. I just did not have a large amount of food before the show. I'm dull. True. Some girlies use doll kind of colloquially, and some girlies use doll as like a specific kink thing, and I don't know how to tell the contextual difference. Oh, Glinner. Dolly used to be my name. It's impressive. Smuggies in chat. We have wee wee. Smuggies in chat. So many smuggies. Lux, did you watch the Fallout show? Very based show, TBH. No, I have not. First of all, what platform is it on? Is it on Max? Where am I watching it? But also, I was never really into the Fallout games. I understand that the show is really good and you don't necessarily need to know what's going on from the games. Like, you'll appreciate the music probably. It's on Prime. Okay. I'll consider watching it if it's on Prime. I was just like, this is just not, it's not something that I was like, oh, I'm really looking forward to that, or really even thinking about watching. Is it coming out week by week, or did it all drop all at once? I was not into the games, however, the show got me into the games. It's that good. Okay. It dropped all at once. Okay, so I might go ahead and watch it just to see what's up. Already renewed for season 2. Doesn't it have oh gosh. He's a bad guy in so many different things. And he plays the ghoul, right? Who is that? Whomst? Walton Goggins? Really? Yeah, he's a bad guy in all kinds of stuff. He's in like fucking American Ultra. He's a bad guy in, I want to say he's a bad guy in, man, he's in all kinds of shit. The ghoul is unironically hot. Fight me. Ant-Man 2. Yes, that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, I saw someone talking about how, oh, like, the, like, oh, all these incels making it about their looks. Meanwhile, people are out here, women are out here writing, like, X-rated fanfic about the ghoul who has no nose. Walter Goggins. Yeah, this was not the tweet that I saw, but this is the kind of vibe. Incels think women only want rich, hot chads with sports cars and six-packs, but at this very moment, women are losing their minds over a homeless, radioactive cowboy with no nose. Doll used to be in the black queer vernacular to refer to black trans women, and if I remember correctly, it was initially a bit derogatory via implying that trans women are artificial women. It has been reclaimed, though, and is super common among the blue sky trans girls. Well, but you all are horny over there. My original question was like, some girls use doll much more relaxed, but some girls use doll as like a very specific kinky thing. And I'm like, that doesn't really clear anything up. Because you girlies over on Blue Sky are very weird, kinky people. I mean, like, I'm gonna say that lovingly. Piece of trans joy to share. Thank you, Kitty Tick, for sharing trans joy. I've been pumping for 5 weeks now. That's, Kitty Tick is trying to produce milk for their baby who's coming soon. I said there, I mean you and your wife. We're on Spiro, progesterone, and Reglan, which is the thing that's supposed to induce lactation. Baby is coming in the next week or 2, and I have started producing whole drops of milk. Yay! Derogatory, non-sexual. Y'all are horny over there describes most places. Listen. Trans girls on Blue Sky. Would you put stuff in that nose? Andes. I was going by Dolly, but people kept picturing Dolly Parton, and that's just not my vibe. I had no idea about the sexual stuff. I think doll and dolly are 2 very different things. Like, Dolly is clearly a name, but when girls call each other doll, that sometimes means something a little extra. I could literally met my girlfriend being horny on Blue Sky. My trans femme partner is into doll stuff as a kink. It's also into robot stuff. Yeah. Yes, come to Blue Sky. Is it publicly open now? It's like everybody can get on Blue Sky now, right? At last, we've discovered a second kind of nose job. Uh-oh. Blue Sky is public and Blue Sky is for the dolls. It's starting to smell really nice in here. Pot roast. Delicious, delicious pot roast. Go eat. Listen, the pot roast isn't even done yet. That's the whole thing, is like there's anticipation building because it's not finished cooking yet. And I don't think it'll be really finished cooking until after 7. Hot take, he could eat straight through his nose hole if he wanted to. I don't want to talk to you anymore. One of my favorite terms for trans people is the Chinese term yin yan ren, which is derogatory slang but has been reclaimed, which meant a yin yang person. Okay. One great thing about slow kicking, exactly, you understand. You get to smell it. It permeates the house. And it smells better and better as it gets closer to being done. All right, well, let's do at least one. Let's do 2 segments today, okay? Let's do Columbia University and let's do Glinner. We'll save Glinner for last. But we'll go ahead and move into the news now. And then, yeah, we probably will end stream a little bit early because, frankly, I'm pretty tired. It's been a really rough couple of weeks. Like, I started out, like, I had really intense pain from my jaw one week that was giving me crazy bad headaches. And then I had really bad back pain for like over a week, which is finally kind of resolving. And then other shit happened. And then other shit happened. And I'm like, I need to have fewer problems. Lux is tired of us. No, not tired of you. Yeah, this is the real crowd, okay? Y'all are not here for, like, the news. Y'all are here just to chill. Which makes me feel appreciated. You know, somebody's here just for me. Yeah. Me when pain from strength training. I don't mind strength training and the pain that comes with that. That's a little different. You can be tired of us. It's called self-respect. I'm tired of the demands on the channel that, like, I have to keep talking about trans stuff. You know, but that's like, I made that bed 7 years ago when I was making trans content in the first place. I'm here to talk fitness and food. Yes. I have lost like 7 pounds since I started trying to lose weight in February, which I think is a pretty decent clip. Yeah, that'll teach you to be trans. Yeah, I think that's fair enough, Mama. I feel like the quote audience demands on the non-stream side of things is less about what people want and more about what algorithms want. Yeah. That's the thing, too, is you're constrained. When I post videos that are positive, like today's video was a more positive video. It was about, oh, this trans girl has won the right to play. Well, that video is performing 8 out of 10 of, like, my 10 most recent uploads. That video is performing at the 8th. Like, and so it's a positive thing, and I don't know if that is, like, my audience doesn't want to click on positive trans news, or if that's YouTube isn't even showing my subscribers this video because it is not feeding the outrage machine. I'm here to watch my friend stream and apparently get called out for my blue sky behavior. Like, I love and respect it. I'm just saying that y'all be wildin'. I only really watch the vids from streams I miss. I mean, literally, that makes sense. I don't think there are a lot of people who are watching the streams and the videos. Actually, I could find out how many people are watching the streams and the videos. Yes, it pushes content that's more likely to stir up engagement. Didn't even see a new video was posted. Meh. So here's a fun little thing that I can look at. So this is viewers across formats right here. Which means, like, I can switch between these different views. Comparing the videos and the live streams, 71% of my audience watch only the videos for the last 28 days. And 23% of my audience are watching both, and live streams only 6%. And then you can look at videos versus shorts, shorts versus live. People who are watching shorts only is 50%. People who are watching both, 15%. Live only, 35%. So that is actually a neat little thing that I can see. Baby Squid, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Hopefully I don't lose the card I pay this with for the 3rd time. You can technically set up a recurrent payment if you want to. You'll donate the same every month. You can also always do Patreon. But thank y'all. Much appreciated. That brings us up to 27. Look at that number go up. Brr. Donations. Womp. Womp. There we go. Worcestershire? Worcestershire? Oh god, over this past week, I drank an entire bottle of Worcestershire. Why? Why? That's so much salt. Like, that's so much salt. Are you okay? That's so much anchovy juice. It's flavorful. I mean, I'm not doubting that it's flavorful. I'm just saying that's so much salt. I know trans girls usually need a little bit more salt, but I joined Patreon today. Thank you, Duke Bonanza. Very much appreciate that. Patreon is like, that's income that I can rely on. Like, it's lovely. Love my chicken broth. Chicken broth is very yummy. I've actually considered if I should do that in the morning because my heart symptoms are like most active in the morning. And also, like, you wake up dehydrated, basically, especially if you have POTS. Unless you're waking up throughout the night drinking, everybody wakes up a little bit dry in the morning. And I've considered, you know, should I just drink like straight up chicken broth in the morning? Yeah. I'd hate to ask, but does the Patreon have this muggy shit? No. Patreon doesn't support sex workers on its platform. So there's no smuggy stuff on it, I don't think. But also, like, if I post pictures of myself in thirst trap format, it's on Fansly. I take my best pics when I'm dehydrated in the morning. Listen, like, your belly is still all skinny in the morning. You haven't started to get bloated from eating anything. Ugh. Looks, if you're trans and your pronouns are it, does that mean you're in transit? True. Thirst maxing, yeah. So yeah, I you know, like, trans girls do have need for a little bit additional salt, but you gotta worry about, yeah, having a stroke. I'm not trying to have a stroke today. Silly beans. Very silly beans. Oh my god, where do I even start with Colombia here? Trans girls do be salty bitches. It's true. Until after you get the orchidectomy. Oh my god. Okay, let's talk about Colombia. But we'll keep it relatively short. I'm not gonna go on for 20 minutes about Colombia. Oh god. It's been a little bit since we talked about Columbia University. Previously, there were protests happening there, like pro-Palestinian protests. Many Jewish students were participating. And so the reason that we talked about this previously is that there were some former Israeli soldiers, like, Americans can go serve in the Israeli army for a period of time, like, for some reason. I'm not totally sure on the specifics, but some, I think, Americans who had served in the Israeli army and were returned home, they used skunk spray, like chemical weapons spray, on protesters who were trying to say, hey, we voice our support for Palestine, please stop this genocide, etc. And those students were not receiving adequate support. We also talked about how, I think, the university vice president was, you know, expressing all this concern about anti-Semitism, but not really, like, acknowledging all of the anti-Palestinian sentiment. And, you know, that also it's really unfortunate to conflate pro-Palestinian sentiment with anti-Semitism because, again, there's a lot of Jewish Americans who are at these events saying, hey, no, not in our name, we don't support this. You can't equate Israel, the country, with the idea of Jewish identity and safety globally. Like, it's very silly to put those things together, but that's the situation that we're in. So there have been many updates, like miniature updates, many miniature updates about Colombia. Some of the, like, those updates being that Ilhan Omar's daughter, like is she a senator, House of Representatives? Can't remember. Ilhan Omar's daughter was expelled from campus and was actually, like, these students who were peacefully protesting for Palestine were basically kicked out of their dorm rooms at like midnight, and they, like, their access cards were canceled so that they couldn't get in. Ilhan Omar is a House rep. Okay, House rep. Let me see if I don't remember if I retweeted anything about this specifically. Okay, so here. I don't think this is Ilhan Omar's daughter, but this is generally the vibe of what's been happening here. They received this email. Dear student, I am writing to follow up on the notice of interim suspension you received earlier today from my office. So they were suspended. As detailed in that notice, your ID has been deactivated and you will not have access to the residence halls, dining facilities, classrooms, or any other part of campus. If you need to come to retrieve any of your belongings from your residence hall, please go to CARES, and you will be escorted to your room. You will have 15 minutes to gather what you might need. And yeah, like, giving us 15 minutes to pack up and leave from our housing is seriously twisted. I am not surprised at all. I am glad administration is finally showing their face to the general student body, because student organizers have known from the start how evil these administrators are. Like, these students just lost their homes. This email was dated at like 6 p.m., but some of these students didn't find out necessarily until like the middle of the night, and then they had to go find some person to let them in the building because their access cards didn't work anymore. Like, protesting for Palestine got these paying students, these students who are paying to attend a university, they suspended them, kicked them out of the school, and then rendered them homeless, giving them no time to prepare or leave. Like, of course, some of these students, just taking like an average of students, some students have family to go back to, but other students don't. If you're living on campus, let's say, you know, your family lives across the country, or maybe you don't even have parents, you're putting yourself through school. Like, you're like, what are you meant to do? You're just gonna couch surf until what? You find an apartment? Like, what's going to happen to all the money you've already spent on that semester of class? Yeah, what if they were international students? Yeah, truly, the important thing is that we saved free speech on campus. But this isn't even the story today. The story today isn't even about this. The story today is about an increasingly militarized presence, like the NYPD showing up and arresting the legal observers at the Columbia University Paladine Solidarity encampment. Like, this is expanded now, what these students are doing. Good to see them wearing masks. Like, they've put up an encampment to make their statement in support of Palestine. So I guess technically, like, they're being arrested for having an encampment, which, you know, of course, increasingly policing and villainizing homeless people, as per usual. Yes, I will get to that in a second, Mama. Let me see, where am I going next with this? Okay, I didn't have anything else that I retweeted about this, but I'm sure I'll very easily be able to find stuff. This is, I will say, not only happening at Columbia University. I think what's happening at Columbia is getting the most attention right now because it's been an ongoing situation. Like, we've had, you know, months of lead up into this, essentially. But we are also seeing at Texas University, they're sending in the National Guard and Texas University students are confronting the National Guard. Can you... Hold on. I'm so sorry. I can't remember the name of what I'm looking for here. I'm trying to look for a picture of that student who had been shot at a university protest by the National Guard during the Vietnam War, I believe it was. I don't know what search terms to plug in to make that happen. It's not the Kent State. Is it the Kent? Yeah, it's Kent State. Yeah. Where's the famous photo? Safe search blurring is on. Why? Like, this is a historical photo. Remember the last time the National Guard was deployed? It's probably not the last time, but remember that one time that the National Guard was deployed to intervene with regards to a protest at a school? At Kent State, there was this protest during the Vietnam War, and the National Guard showed up and, like, shot 4 people. So when you call, and people are on Twitter, like the public commentary, these people are calling for the National Guard to show up. There are people who are saying, yeah, the New York Police Department needs to show up, and the National Guard needs to show up. Like, the implication, and I don't even know that it's an implication because it feels pretty explicit. In America, if you sick the cops on someone, or if you sick the National Guard on someone, they are going to use violence. Like, that's their job. It's the main thing that they're trained to do. Yeah, we despise cop collars. Like, yeah, I agree. As far as I'm concerned, that's an attempted murder. So there's an increasing militarized presence at these pro-Palestine protests on college campuses, where things are getting increasingly heated and arrests are being made. Like, students are being arrested, suspended from school because they're standing in solidarity with Palestine. Like, of course, there are probably individuals acting inappropriately. Like, it's a huge group of people. I'm sure occasionally you could technically nail someone for actually doing something they should not have been doing. But the overwhelming majority of these protesters are peaceful, and yet they're being subjected to a militarized presence on their campus. And it's like, obviously it's super messed up because the whole problem is, like, the government is doing something abhorrent. Like, oh, by the way, in the midst of all this happening, mass graves are being discovered in Gaza, like, where Israeli soldiers, I'm not going to show any footage or anything of this, Israeli soldiers, apparently, according to the evidence we found, they handcuffed people, including patients, including doctors, like, people in scrubs, handcuffed and executed, and their bodies thrown into mass graves near, I believe it was Al-Shifa Hospital, which might have been the last standing hospital in Gaza. I believe they might actually not have a hospital anywhere in the city now. Like, I don't even know in the region how many hospitals are left, but mass graves of students and, like, you know, like medical students and doctors and patients. Like, so that's happening. And then we just approved more aid to Israel. I say we, and I mean, like, the Senate. They packaged it all together with aid to Ukraine, but we're still sending more money to Israel. So, okay, you've got a bunch of very pissed off college students, like very justifiably pissed off college students who are out here protesting and saying, like, hey, we need to change this. Like, what the fuck is happening? We really need to do something different. And then, so they're protesting the government's actions. And then the government is sending in NYPD, like NYPD counterterrorism units. Like, look at this. NYPD counterterrorism police present at the university. Counterterrorism. I know it's probably hard for you to see that, but it says it right there. Counterterrorism units against peaceful protesting students because they happen to support people who are like maybe Muslim. They're kind of brown colored, so you know you gotta worry about it. Yeah, the fact that our country is treating people as though they're the bad guy for being against genocide, and the fact that there are people in this country who believe that it's a good thing when cops show up and start like arresting people and disrupting the protest. Like, there are people in this country who hate these protesters, and they think that they're dumb college students who don't know anything, and oh, they'll grow out of it, or oh, these liberal institutions brainwashing people. Like, if I hadn't already been radicalized, then the fact that like every day, basically every day, at some point in the day, and sometimes it's in the morning, like this morning, it was in the morning, I hopped up on Twitter. I was like, yo, what's up on Twitter right now? And within 5 minutes, I saw a picture of a dead child. And I'm like, I am done with Twitter now. We're going to move on and do something else for a little while. We'll come back to this later. But like, how can you exist in the world and like not be deeply horrified at what's happening? So like, but yeah, these students who are all just trying to say, hey, it's not okay for us to be participating in this. Why are you still sending funding? Like, the government is sitting here sending in the National Guard. And we wonder what's going to happen? Do we wonder what's going to happen? I don't think there's been an event like the Kent State Massacre in a long time. Like, mostly we just do things like use military grade pepper spray. Remember that classic? Hold on. Come on. Oh, why is that so tiny? Stop being so tiny. Do you remember this one, y'all? Remember this one? Like, modern tactics seem to be, yeah, I'm just gonna directly, like, bear spray you right in the face as you're kneeling on the sidewalk. Protests can be peaceful. Not when the cops show up. When the cops show up to a protest, they riot. It's called a police riot. When people are peacefully protesting and cops start instigating violence, start paying attention. When you're watching videos, there's this one thread, I would have to pull it up, I would have to dig for it now. There was a thread that I kept retweeting constantly for like years from the George Floyd protests, where it was just literally hundreds of videos of examples of across this nation, protests in practically every state where police were instigating violence against protesters. Police riots nationwide. Yeah, the pepper spray that they use causes respiratory issues. Obviously not great. There is no military grade pepper spray because it's illegal to use it in war. But there is. Like, it's part of the problem, in fact, that like it is considered illegal to use military grade pepper spray in war, but it isn't illegal to use pepper spray on your own citizens. Like the kind of, I think it's called, is it called mace properly when it's that? Because the stuff that they spray at people at protests, it causes like reproductive harm. There are guys, I've known trans guys on testosterone who haven't had a period in years, who after they got gassed at a protest ended up having a period. I've known of people who have been pregnant at protests, like fairly early in their pregnancy having a miscarriage after being exposed to the chemical weapons that cops use on protesters here in America. And of course, yeah, they take people's hearing with the flashbangs. Oh, do you remember all those? There were like, I think, 8 different photographers who all lost an eye because they were holding a camera to their face when a cop shot a rubber bullet directly at their eye. Like the camera just like shattering into their face. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it was a good handful of journalists wearing press badges, like wearing press vests, and like holding a camera and having a rubber bullet shot at their face. Rubber bullets are considered less lethal. They're not non-lethal, and the way that you're supposed to train cops to use them is to only shoot below the belt. But they were just aiming them directly at people's faces. Yeah, truly, the protesters are going, hey, please stop murdering thousands of children, U.S. government. Well, first of all, how dare you? It's the same thing with tasers. Yeah, I forgot tasers. People will say it's non-lethal, but there's like a specific county in California where it's like a very well-known problem that the cops there just tase people to death. So if we have this increased militarized presence in response to, again, peaceful protests, this is the National Guard at Texas University. The New York Police Department's counterterrorism unit has shown up. I think it's at Columbia University in New York, I think. So I frankly, I think it's a matter of time before a cop kills a student, frankly. And I don't know what's going to happen after that. Like, it's a wild, wild world here. But did you consider that this is actually the fault of TikTok? Good thing the Senate just passed the TikTok ban. You know, we're using our resources so smartly. The U.S. government, it's got its priorities exactly in order. It knows exactly what to do. And they've got all their bases covered. Don't even worry about it. They've got your back covered on TikTok. China could be phishing your information or something. Truly, yeah, if a cop gets killed during one of these things, we won't stop hearing about it. But the likelihood, I mean, really, seriously, if a student gets killed, it's just going to get spun as they were a violent protester. Oh, they support Muslims. Like, who the fuck knows what's going to happen here? But yeah, just wanted to bring attention to that. Things are escalating at these protests around the country, and it remains to be seen. I frankly, I do think that this might catch on and more protests might catch on because, George Floyd was such a moving case for us, and like so many people got involved, and I think people have had enough time to kind of rest and recuperate from that, maybe to be prepared to do another round of mass protesting. And it's so egregious. Like the videos and the photos that we're seeing out of Gaza are so egregious. Just like the kneeling on the dude's neck for 9 minutes was egregious. Like if you see it, any person in good conscience could not remain silent. And like, so I have massive respect for these students who are showing up in the face of militarized opposition to protest against their government murdering children. Ashley Babbitt, is that the one like woman who died during the January 6th insurrection? So the same people who stand Ashley Babbitt for getting killed trying to overthrow the government would come back and be all, ooh, we're the party of law and order if a pro-Palestine protester was killed by an unprovoked cop. Yeah, like, oh, well, you shouldn't have broken the law. Oh, well, you should have not been protesting. Like, because ultimately that is kind of the direction that we're trending, is popular opinion. They're trying to sway popular opinion against protesters and to say, you should never do these protests, or protests should always be ignorable, or something. And like they do gradually want to chip away at our right. We didn't really talk about it on this show because I was like, what the hell can you say about this other than it's awful? But in several states, they have now made it to where the organizers of a protest can be charged with a crime or a huge fine or something if anyone who's a member of the protest does something illegal. So they're just basically creating a bunch of more obstacles. And of course, there were a couple states that tried to pass laws that would basically make it to where, like, if you drive through protesters who are blocking the road, like, you can't be charged for, like, a manslaughter or something. Like, crazy stuff. Like, basically trying to make it legal to literally kill protesters. So yeah, we're seeing an erosion of the right to protest across this country as well, which is always scary. And, you know, Godspeed and good luck to these kids. I say kids, like these young adults out here, you know, showing up, endangering themselves in order to protest against the horrible shit that we're doing on the international scale. All right. I feel like maybe that's all the commentary I have on that, because I just really wanted to spotlight it. I just wanted to highlight. Ooh, if you have not hit the like button, please hit the like button on the stream. Truly, yeah, they just want to be able to shoot anyone they don't like without the negative optics. Don't you know, every time a cop shoots someone, it's 100% justified? And if you want an investigation, then you're a commie? Yeah, give that like button a good consensual impact play session. Did you know they almost never investigate the deaths of homeless people? It's de facto legal. Essentially, yeah. Well, yeah, maybe it depends. If you live somewhere that's super liberal, then maybe they'll investigate. Because I have seen, like, I've seen, oh, it's in the news, and then, oh, there's an investigation, and oh, now there's a court case surrounding, like, the death of a homeless person. But probably for the most part, it's like, it just doesn't matter. Like, why would they? Like, why would they investigate if they don't have to? If there's nobody... Frankly, I'm not even sure that they would investigate the deaths of anyone else if it weren't for the fact that there's a family there to be like, what the fuck? You know, if there was a family to go like, we want justice. Like, do you think any of these cops would bother to investigate or do paperwork if it weren't like that there was public pressure for them to do so? So if there's no public pressure... Mm. Water. Drink more water. Jamie, I'm trying to make the distinction better. It's hard. It's a linguistic shift. I don't identify with the American military-industrial complex. It's just like, oh, we as in we America, or we as in we white people. Like, I didn't personally enslave anybody, but I would say Like, yeah, oh, yeah, we did horrible things to black people during chattel slavery. Like, I don't identify with it, it's just shorthand, but I'm trying not to do it as much when it comes to the US government. Later, Skelly Bones. Truly, I love the authority from being a law enforcement officer. People, okay, but now you have to actually enforce the law, please? Cops, ugh, I don't wanna. Yeah, basically. I did see, I think I may have retweeted it, just on the subject of homelessness. I think I did share something earlier. Maybe I didn't. Did I just like it and not share it? Or did I just not respond at all? Then that's a whole possibility. Well, yeah, I saw a tweet earlier about, like, if you're lucky and you get access to all the services, it's still like you're being sent around town. Like, oh, you have to, it's 4.7 miles to get to this place, and you have to walk there because you didn't score a bus pass. Okay, we'll talk about Glinner here in a second. Glinner. Oh my gosh. It's been a long life. You know what I mean? Like, I love living and everything, but also I'm like, wow, the total number of events in my life is kind of overwhelming at this point. Can we have fewer things happening, please? I would like there to be fewer things happening. Yeah, I did see that. I think we might wait until the I'm assuming, I guess I'm kind of assuming there's a city that's trying to criminalize sleeping outside, period. Like, if you're sleeping outside, they'll arrest you. And the Supreme Court is going to see the case. And I actually think that that might be happening, like, soon. Yeah, I love Callan Conrad. That's actually that's the screenshot that we have is Callan Conrad asking, what are the most divorced things Glinner has ever done? Excuse me. Yeah, headline, Millennials shrug as they experience their 8th once-in-a-lifetime historical disaster. Someplace in Oregon has the outlaw the homeless thing. Why is it always, like, liberal centers that do this? Where is Grants Pass in Oregon? It might be in the... Is it in the country? Or is it, like... Where is it? Where is it? Okay, Grants Pass is, like, in the south part of the state. It's in the rural part of the state. Like, honestly, the entirety of Oregon, it can't all be liberal. But my initial reaction was like, why is it always... I feel like it's liberal centers. Maybe in the red states they can just do these things with no fuss. Maybe in red states they don't feel the need to make it explicit. Like, the cops will just bother homeless people anyway. I feel like even in the worst case, they're careful enough to not accidentally catch camping in the woods in general in that ruling. Well, technically, Lord Byron, I think what generally happens in these situations is that if you go camp on state ground, then you have to pay, usually. Like, the times that I've tried to go camping, you have to pay for the night like you would at a hotel. It's not very expensive, but you're supposed to pay. So, you know, that's kind of the way that these things get enforced, is like, oh, you can't sleep here unless you paid to do that. Homeless people tend to go to blue areas because they aren't as dangerous, and they probably have better services, I would guess. Mm. Oh gosh. Fun fact, my father is chair of a county GOP in Oregon. Mm-hmm. Yay, Republican family members. Yay. Proud to join the swaths of trans people and otherwise liberal people who are fleeing to the PNW. Yay! Glinner. Can y'all remind me before we start the segment what show it was that Glinner wrote for? What show was it? It wasn't Parks and Rec, was it? It was some different one. The IT Crowd? Father Ted and the IT Crowd. Okay, thank you. And Black's Books. All great shows. I hadn't heard of that third one. Oh, damn. That's a really messed up but apt point. I heard from a formerly homeless guy that he preferred to sleep in city and town centers rather than in the woods because in the city someone might notice someone trying to kill him. Yeah, no kidding. Oh, man. Ugh. Graham Linehan, or Glinner, as he's known on Twitter and infamously throughout the internet now, he was a television writer. He was just like a comedy writer on a couple of shows, like the IT Crowd and Father Ted. And I mean, he kind of could have just had a normal career. He could have just been a normal person. But then he's British and kind of got swept up in this whole TERF gender critical thing that's been happening over there. And like that's kind of the thing that he's most famous for now, because I think he has a hard time finding work. Frankly, like no one would want to work with him because he spends his entire very public internet presence just constantly crapping on trans people and generally being deeply embarrassing. He also very publicly was divorced. Like his wife divorced him and took the kids because of his gender critical beliefs and his participation in that crowd, like just constantly hating on trans people. His wife was like, bye. So Glinner has joined the ranks of extremely divorced individuals and continues to just complain about trans people. Yeah, he blamed trans people for his divorce as though trans people ruined his divorce instead of his very bigoted behavior. And the fact that it's like, his wife might have been able to tolerate it if he had a private transphobic belief. Like if he was talking about it at home privately, maybe she could have been like, well, whatever, it doesn't make a difference anyway. You're married to me, a cis woman, so why would it matter if you hate trans women? But like, for him to make it the entire thing that he's talking about publicly, his name is synonymous with, he's, I think, the most prominent TERF who's male. Most TERFs we think of, okay, yeah, J.K. Rowling, Helen Joyce, all these people, as far as in Britain. But yeah, Glinner is like the most famous gender critical man. And gender critical in this context, for those of you who don't know, TERF means trans exclusionary radical feminist. That's what these anti-trans feminist women, quote unquote, that's what they were calling themselves before people caught on to the fact that they're just hateful. So we started calling them TERFs as a derogatory thing after they called themselves that. But because they recognized that, like, oh my God, my brain, the Ritalin, no. Oh my God, my brain. That's so sad. Oh no. Like, they basically realized that the name TERFs has bad PR, like it's bad rep, so they started calling themselves gender critical, and they're actually thinking about shifting it again to something else, because they're like, oh, gender critical, you know, doesn't exactly, whatever, blah, blah. Like, they're just recognizing that the name that they call themselves gets tainted and poisoned by the fact that they are disgusting, annoying, mean, bigoted people. More famous than Ricky Gervais. I guess I don't think about Ricky Gervais that much. Obviously, Ricky Gervais is more famous than Glinner, but is he a more famous TERF than Glinner? Or is Glinner, like, more famously known as a TERF and amongst TERFs? I'm not sure. But regardless, yeah, they get mad that we're calling them the thing that they named themselves, basically. So gender critical is just the nicer way that they've tried to rebrand themselves as, oh, you know, we're just critical of your gender ideology stuff. Yeah, I guess Dave Chappelle did famously say he was Team TERF. But Glinner just has nothing else going on. Ricky Gervais, at least, you know, you think of him as like an atheist comedian. And like Dave Chappelle, you know, has got like black comedy. That's what he does. Anyway, holy cow, we've been meandering to get to the funny part. Are you ready for the funny part? The funny part is that Glinner, who is, again, one of the most famous male transphobes, TERFs of, I mean, I guess he's not a TERF. I don't know if he counts himself as a feminist. He's gender critical. Well, Callan Conrad, who's a very cool fellow YouTuber and Twitter shitposter, asked recently, what are some of the most divorced things that Glinner has ever done, given that he's intensely divorced? This trans woman responds, he signed up to my OnlyFans only to delete it a couple hours later after he realized I could see his username and that he had just outed himself as an alleged chaser. So this, I don't know if you can see it because it's very tiny even on my screen and I can't really make it bigger. It says Glinner68 liked your post. Glinner68 liked your post. Like a bunch of notifications. First of all, why would you name your username like your public Twitter handle? Your porn consumption account maybe should have a different handle. I never said that he was a smart person though. And then it shows the same notifications page, all these notifications back to back, but like later that day, deleted user liked your post, deleted user liked your post. He deleted his whole account. He deleted his whole OnlyFans account because he realized that he posted like his name, and I say his name, his nickname on the account and outed himself as a chaser. So once again, transphobes outing themselves as chasers. Like, oh, you it's that thing that sex workers say where it's like, you know, you're pointing with one hand and your dick is in your other hand. Like there's all this accusation and, oh, what you're doing is bad or wrong, but they've got their dick in their hand, you know? Alex Jones also used to shit on trans women, and then he showed like tabs on his phone and one of them was trans girl porn. Like, it's so predictable, but it's also really just tiring and sad. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Subscribed Or I guess I don't know if he paid money to this OnlyFans or if he just joined as like a follower. But he was giving attention to a trans woman's sex work content. Why are so many men in particular like this? I don't know. So I don't know that there's a lot more of a point to be made here. There's not really a point to be made. It's just they'll condemn you at the same time that they're jerking off to you. They will vote against your rights and speak out against you while also fetishizing you, essentially. And it's like, how much of that is just self-hatred that you're projecting? It's like, why do you have such an issue with being attracted to trans women? It's fine. Just be attracted to trans women. And you don't have to be weird about it. Like, oh, they're not real women. They're stealing opportunities from real women. Real women have large gametes. Like, creepy, creepy objectifying behavior. Being ashamed of sexual tastes is a pretty big theme in bigotry, TBH. Fair enough. It's not like this is necessarily new. You know, the Catholic priest who gets caught doing gay sex kind of thing, like, yeah. I'm stealing the opportunity of a real woman to be yanked to by Glinner. Wanked to. Oh my god, I can't talk. You're creating a hostile work environment for cisgender sex workers. Anyway, Godspeed, Glinner. Go on to your alt account that you didn't put your real username in and go out there and support some girlies getting their HRT and surgery, all right? You do it, buddy. Some men, for example, feel emasculated when they feel attracted to a woman because they interpret that as them having power over them, so they resent that and get frustrated and often turn their frustrations toward the object of their attraction. Yeah, that is a very incel thing, right? When incels get mad at attractive women and they start doing this whole doom scroll like, you know, you're not the Chad that she's gonna choose. Why don't you just lie down and rot kind of thing. Like, they hate these women because, yeah, it's like they want them so much that they feel like a lack of power in the relationship. Andrew Tate recently tweeting it's gay to kiss women unironically. I don't actually know that it was unironic. I don't necessarily know that it was sincere. It just seems like the kind of thing that you would say because you just wanted to fuck with your audience of idiots. Excuse me. Yeah, rage bait. Like, does he really believe that it's gay to kiss a woman, or does he just think that the audience he's cultivated will interact with that post, and also anyone outside of the audience he's cultivated will be like, look at what this idiot Andrew Tate is saying. Like, yep, free publicity, just like Trump. Just do outrageous things and people will cover it. Very dumb things. I can't even think about Aiden Ross without thinking of that one time that he was doing a live stream with Andrew Tate, and Andrew got up to like go to the bathroom or open the door or something, and Aiden Ross got up out of his chair and started sniffing the chair that Andrew Tate had been sitting in. On a live stream. It was the craziest shit I've ever seen. Like, that was wild. Hey, Hypno Amber, welcome in. I remember that, right? Yeah, no, I mean, listen. Just talking about the things Aiden Ross does feels like being ableist. Listen. You don't need sound. No, 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 no. I wasn't joking. That's real. No, sound. Shut up. Very heterosexual behavior. And normal. Wasted no time. Yeah, well, listen. First of all, he's gonna come back in a second. So you gotta do it quickly before he gets back. But also, you gotta get the scent while it's fresh, right? Yeah. While it's still pungent. Cringe, embarrassing. Yeah, if you ever feel bad about how you're doing as a content creator, remember you're at least not Aiden Ross. Are there enough people in here who have not yet hit the like button that we can get to 69 before I say I'm too tired to continue? Can we get there? Most streams we can get there. Obviously, today's stream, I chose to be a little bit less clickbaity with the title. 69 is the good number. It's the good. 69. 69. That's Ninja Sex Party. It's the nice number. It's so nice. Yeah, the heady scent of Axe body spray and unwashed straight guy asshole. We got to 65. I just need 4 more likes, and then I will go discover whether the pot roast is finished or not. I can't really smell it anymore, at least. Like, I am not hungry in that sense that, like, I can smell the pot roast. It's background noise to my brain now. 67 likes. Oh my god, we're so close. 69. I feel like everybody's motivated to help me get there, at least. Y'all really care. Y'all really coming in clutch for the 69. It's showing me we just need 2 more. Oh, you know what? I should add some stuff to my notes. So we did Colombia today. Come on, scroll wheel. What is today? The 22nd? 24th. Oh my god. 24. Okay, we did Colombia, Gaza, etc. And then we also did Glinner, OnlyFans, Lamau, Chaser. There. That's what's in my notes. That's how I know what I talked about today. We're now at 66. It was at 67 and someone took it away. Someone took away their like. I swear. Now it's back to 67. Okay, I don't have to murder anybody. 424, 2024, lots of 2s and 4s. Yeah. Yeah, retracted the like. Alright, well, y'all. Oh, we're at 68. Oh my god. Am I gonna log off right before we get to 69? Maybe. Ooh, I do want to say, before we quit, that I started trying to read Twilight last night, because I was just trying to kill time until it was time to cook dinner, and I was like, I really would like to, like someone in YouTube chat was saying earlier, I really would like to take one of those really long, skinny spoons and scramble my brain up until it flows out of my nostrils. And then I realized that that wasn't feasible. So I started to read Twilight because I recently discovered a copy that I was gonna donate. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll go ahead and read it. And maybe I'll read the whole series just because, it'll be a quick read. And then I did not get very far in it. I think I got to chapter 6. And I went, Yeah, this is way too uncomfortable. I don't like it. I loved it a lot when I was younger. That's the thing. When I was like a teenager, I voraciously consumed those books. And now as an adult reading it, I'm like, yeah, it kind of like really was making me feel icky. So I was like, you know what? I don't have to force myself to finish reading it. Isn't that convenient? Yeah, I'm not a young teen adult anymore. It does not hit the same. 70 likes. We did it. Look at that. Thank you so much, everybody, for getting us to the likes and letting me complain about Twilight for a second. Like, I was like, oh yeah, I enjoyed these when I was a kid. Maybe it'll be enjoyable. Nope. Nope. All right, y'all. I am gonna go do my thing. I appreciate y'all hanging out. As far as I know, we will be doing the same old show on Sunday. Blessings to you, gamers. Let's hope that we can finish out the week strong. Finish out the week strong, and then have a good weekend, okay? So be good, or at least don't get caught.